Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to play Bologna 1945, game of the Great Battles 1939-1945 system, about one of the last battles of the World War II. Since their landing at Sicily, Allies tried their best to outflank, surround and destroy German units at Italy. But every time they tried, they failed. Germans had terrain on their side. As you probably know, Italia is pretty rough, with a lot of mountains, hills, rivers coming throughout them, making a perfect place for defense. And the Germans managed to do their best to slow Allies' advance down as best as possible. Their commander, General Albert Kesselring, was a right man on the right place, not letting Allies to destroy their troops, his troops till the end of the war. And here we are. It is in April 1945, and Allies finally are about to leave these damned mountains. As you can see at the board, we have Allied units finally getting out of the mountains, and some of their corpses, including British 5th Corps and Polish 2nd Corps, are about to attack from the right flank, breaking German lines and attack right onto Bologna to roll German defense. Well, this is the plan. Of course, we don't know if it will succeed or not, but Allies have a lot of forces, and what is pretty interesting, this is a real battle of nations, because there is a lot of nations fighting on the Allied side. We have British units, American units, of course, but there is also a Polish corps here, there is a couple of Hindu divisions, some Australian units, there are Italian brigades fighting on the Allied side, there is South American Armored Division, there is Brazilian Division, and even there is Jewish Brigade, and there is even a Greek brigade somewhere here. Let me check. Oh yes, here it is. There is a Greek brigade. So you can see there is a lot of nations here, and this makes this game also interesting. This is a game where Allies have an initiative and a real numerous advantage. So it is very hard to play Germans. Some people don't like games that have not a balance of force, but let's face the truth. There is a very small number of battles in the history where you have a numerical balance on the both sides. Usually one side has an advantage and the other side hasn't. In this particular game, Allies have a devastating advantage when it comes to the numbers, but of course there is always some buts, and this time this but is terrain. There are mountains here, and they are making Allied progress very hard, giving Germans a good bonus for defense. Also, even a clear terrain is not an easy thing to move here, because in most of these games units have to spend one movement point for each hex with clear terrain, but in this game they have to spend 2 movement points for each clear terrain hex. So this makes our units literally bound to the road net, and this also gives Germans a better opportunity to defend themselves. When it comes to the victory, it is pretty easy. There is a couple of victory points marker on the boards, and Allies have to capture them all to win the game. This game comes with one big scenario that takes 15 turns to play, and there are 2 smaller scenarios that you can download from the publisher's site. But I think the most fun is with this big scenario, because, well, you can command a big number of divisions on quite a small area of the front. Allies also have air advantage that allows them to use some of the bombers and ground attack air force. And finally, last but not least, they have here, here, 2 brigades. There is 24 Guards Brigade and 169 Brigade from 56th Infantry Division that can make a landing assault on any of the coastal hexes south of the River Po. So they can land somewhere here and attack Germans from behind. When it comes to the strong side of the Allies, well, there is a lot. They have a lot of units, including some of artillery, headquarters, and tank brigades. The problem is that in this area where they have a best chances to perform a devastating attack, they don't have any armored divisions. Allies have 3 armored divisions in this game, and all of them are in the mountains. Here we have a British 6th Armored Division, here we have American 1st Armored Division, and here we have South African 6th Armored Division. So all these divisions have to make their way out of the mountains to be used effectively. And fighting in the mountains can be quite a trouble even for armored divisions, as you can guess, because virtually they can't move out of the roads. They can only move and attack down the roads. They cannot move anywhere else. So it's pretty easy for them to be cut out of supply, and they won't be very effective. Okay, that's all for the introduction. And now we can start our game. We are starting with turn 1, and at the beginning of each turn, Allied player has a couple of points for the ground attack and the bombers to use. And now, as for bombers, for the first 3 turns, Allied player has an 80 points of the bombers to make his attacks, and for the first 4 days of the battle, he has 15 points of ground attack air force, and for the rest of the battle, he has 11 ground attack air points air force. How to use them? You can use bombers to launch attacks against enemy units, and you can use your ground attack air force to launch attacks against enemy units or to support your attacks. And I think that as for a ground attack air force, it is much better to use it to support your land units. Okay, that's all. Let's go. We have 18 points of this ground of bombers, and now I can choose the hexes where I want to use them. I'm going to spend 9 points for each of these attacks, and I will use one of them here and one of them there. Why here and why there? Because when you are using your bombers to attack the enemy, you have to include terrain on the hex, and you have to double its effect. So it makes a little sense to use your bombers against enemy in the mountains, in the woods, or in the cities or towns, because bombers will have a smaller chance to attack. And I decided to use against units that are in the clear terrain, so it makes more sense because there will be a bigger chance to score a hit. Okay, where can I place my dice tray now? I think here. And now I'm going to launch attack here. I have 9 points of my bomber attack, and this unit is in the field fortification, and the field fortification provides a modifier of 1. So it is doubled because, like I said, you have to double each modifier when it comes to the bomber attacks. So it's 9 minus 2. It's 7. So I will be using a column of 6, 8 to make this attack. And now I have to make a roll with 2d6 to resolve this attack. It is 4. 4 in the column of 6, 8, it is -1. So attacked unit suffers 1 step loss. That's good. And the other attack goes here. They are in the fortifications, so we have -2 again, so we are attacking in the 6, 8 column. And we got 4 again, so they also suffer -1. So it's 1 step loss. Okay, that was pretty good use of our bombers, because the enemy suffered some serious losses. And now we can move our units. First of all, I will use these two to make this a landing assault, and I will make them land in these hexes. Why here? Because it will block a retreat road for this unit, because you cannot retreat into enemy zone of control. So this unit landing here provides a zone of control on this hex. Okay, now I can move my British units. British, Polish, New Zealand, American, and everyone else. Okay, where I'm going to move? I think this is a good idea to make some breakthrough here near the river Reno. So this division goes here. They are now in the stack limit, because you can have 8 levels on the single hex. These tanks will go here. These tanks. This is main road. Yellow road is main road, while the brown road is secondary road. And for the main road, mechanized units have 1/3 of their movement points. Okay, so it's 1, 2, and 3. These 2 brigades will go here. They are going to stay here to protect this artillery, which moves here. And that's all. Now I have one more division here, and I will send 2 of their brigades here. One of the brigade 1, 2, 3, 4 goes here, so it will be able to provide support for all these units, because British headquarters have 4 hexes range. Am I right? I think it is 4 hexes. Yes, so all these units are in the range of their headquarters. This is good. Now this British division 1, 2, and it cannot move here because we have already 6 levels here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's all. And this tank brigade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this hex is in its stacking limit as well. Okay, now here we have a Polish second corps. A corps that already fought in the Monte Cassino last year, and it suffered heavy losses there, so they spent a couple of time to get some reinforcements. Reinforcements coming from the German prisoners of war, mostly because a lot of German soldiers fighting in Italy were actually Poles forced to serve in the Hitler's army, so if only they had a chance, they deserted and joined Polish forces fighting on the Allied side. So I will attack here, and tanks will join. Headquarters will go here to provide a support. This division is not going to attack for now, I believe. Oh, maybe it will try to attack here. And this Hindu division 1, 2 will go here to provide some protection for artillery and headquarters. Okay, here I have 2 brigades, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here I will make an attack of these units. My tanks cannot go here because I cannot move tanks down the road. Sorry, out the road in the mountains. So my tanks have to stay here. These 2 units, they will go here. 1, 2, 3, and now they have 8. Against 2 it will be 4 to 1. I don't think it makes it gives me a nice modifier. I think I will keep my commander here and make, I have, how many units I have here? 4. This is a max, and 4 here. This is a max as well. Okay, so let them wait for the better chance to do something. These tanks will go onto this commander to protect him. And now this part of the front. I have an entire armored division, which is pretty strong unit, so let them try. These Americans will go here. These guns are going to provide the support. I think they are in range. Let me check to make sure I am not wrong. 3 hexes, yes. So 1, 2, 3 Germans are in range. Now this American division, 1, 2, and this unit will go here. The others cannot. Headquarter will go here. And now here we have a worse situation. I would have to attack with this division these 2 German regiments. And they are in the mountains, and they are also in the town, in the mountains, and they are fortified. So it would be a really, I think it would be impossible attack for now. So I'm not going to make an attack. Instead I will move my artillery here, so it will provide, it will be allowed to make its own attack, but that's for later. And now here, they are going to attack here. And now, them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. These Brazilians and South Africans, sorry, are going to attack. And same goes to these Americans. Okay, that's all for my movement. And now I'm going to resolve my attacks. But first of all, I have to choose where I'm going to use my ground attack air force to support my attacks. Okay, all my ground attack units are ready and we can resolve our land attacks. I will start here. I have 10, 16 and 21. It's 21 against 7. So it is, against 3, so it's 7 to 1, 8 to 1 because of the commander, and 9 to 1 because of the yellow star. So it is 8 to 1, and now we have to add terrain modifiers. First we have a small river there, and a small river provides +1 for the defender. So it's 7 to 1 and 6 to 1 because they are in the field fortification. So it is 6 to 1 and 7. 6 to 1 and 7 is B3. So defender has to retreat 3 hexes. And since he cannot attack, even retreat 1 hex, because like I said, this hex is in the enemy zone of control, they have to suffer 3 losses. So it is 1 and 2, they are done. And now we can take this hex. Okay, next we have here, I'm going to attack with 20 plus 6. So it's 26, and here I have +6 from the ground attack air force, so it is 32 against 4. So it's 8 to 1. +1 because of the commander, and +1 because I have entire division, 3 units of the same division, so I gain additional +1. So the total odds are 10 to 1. Impressive. And now 9 to 1 because of the river, 8 to 1 because of the fortification, and 7 to 1 because they are in the range of their own headquarter. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 7 to 1. 7 to 1 and 7 is also B3. So they have to retreat, and luckily they can. 1, 2, 3. And now, because they had to retreat 3 hexes, they have to undergo 2 morale checks. because you have to undergo a morale check for each hex you had to retreat, save to the first hex. So they retreat 3 hexes, so they have to undergo 2 morale checks. First one, oh, and the first one is already fail. They need 11 or 12, and they are disorganized. This is bad. And finally, since they were forced to retreat, I'm marking them with retreat marker. Why? Because the unit which was forced to retreat cannot build field fortification in its movement phase. And now I can make my pursuit. So 1, 2, 3, and this brigade moves 1, 2, and 3. Because you can move in your pursuit down the same road that enemy used, and you can step 1 hex from this road. But when you are stepping down out of the road of the enemy's withdraw, you have to stop. You cannot go any further. So this unit moves here, and it ends its pursuit here. Okay, next battle. I have 5, 10, 18, 18 plus 6. It's 18 plus 6 is 24. And the Germans are going to use their own artillery to support this battle. I should mark my artillery as used. So it is 24 against 4. 24 against 4 is 6 to 1. It is 7 to 1 because of the commander, and 6 to 1 because of the road, 5 to 1 because of the fortification, and 4 to 1 because of the headquarter. So it is 4 to 1. Oh, very good roll. 4 to 1 and 4 is B3 and the dot. So, what it means? First, they have to retreat 3 hexes. And they can only retreat here, 1, 2, and 3. And now they have to undergo 2 morale checks, 1 and 2. Okay, they made it. And now I'm marking them with retreat marker. And also, we had a dot in the combat table. This means that attacker has to undergo a morale check as well. They made it, so I can move them in the pursuit. It is 1, and now I cannot go here because there is enemy unit, so I can go here. And that's where I should stop my pursuit. Okay, let's go to the other combat. I have a 15 plus 6. It's 21 against 6. 21 against 6 is 3 to 1, and now 4 to 1 because of 3 units of the same division, 5 to 1 because of the yellow star, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 to 1 because of the commander. So it's 6 to 1, and now 5 to 1 because of the river, 4 to 1 because of the fortification, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 to 1 because of the German headquarters. So it's 3 to 1 and 8. It is B2. So defender has to retreat 2 hexes, 1, 2. Or I can decide to not retreat, but to suffer a certain number of step losses. And this is quite a tempting idea, to stay here and to suffer 2 step losses. But I think I will rather retreat. And now I have to undergo 1 morale check. They made it. I'm marking them with retreat marker, and allies are moving in this way. This brigade remains here, and these 2 units stay here. Why? Because I want to have my line of supply. If I would move all my units here, then this hex will be cut out of supply because of this German regiment's zone of control, and these units will be out of supply. And this is something I would rather like to avoid. Okay, next battle. 15 plus 8 is 23. It is 23 against 6. It is 4 to 1. 5 to 1 because of the commander, 6 to 1 because of the division, and 5 to 1 because of the white star against tanks. White star works only if there are enemy tanks in the combat. So it was 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, and now 5 to 1, 4 to 1 because of the river, 3 to 1 because of the fortification, and 2 to 1 because of the enemy headquarters. So it's 2 to 1 and 8. It is B1. So defender has to retreat 1 hex. So I decide to stay on this hex and suffer a step loss instead. Next combat goes here. I have 15 plus 6. So it's 21. And sorry, and another plus 6 because of the ground attack air force. So it's 15 plus 6 is 21, and plus 6 it is 27. So it's 27 against 7. So it is 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 5 to 1, 4 to 1, and 3 to 1. 3 to 1 and 9, it is B2. So Germans have to retreat 2 hexes or suffer a certain number of losses of step points. So they decide to move 1 hex, and Polish division enters this hex. Okay, so that's all. Oh, I should mark them with retreat marker. And now here I have 15 plus 3, 18, 18 against 2, and this artillery is going to support this battle. So it's 18 against 4. So it's 4 to 1, 5 to 1 because of the division, 6 to 1 because of the commander, 5, 4, 3 to 1 because of the mountains, 2 to 1 because of the fortification, and 1 to 1 because of the commander. So it is 1 to 1 and 3. Amazing! It is dot and B2. So defender has to retreat 2 hexes, suffer 1 morale check. They made it. And attacker has to undergo a morale check and can perform a pursuit. So I am moving like this, here and there. Alright, next combat goes here. We have 18 against 3. It is 6 to 1, 7 to 1 because of the division, 8 to 1 because of the commander, 7 to 1 because of the river, 6 to 1 because of the fortification, 5, 4, 3 to 1 because of the mountain, and 2 to 1 because of the headquarters. So it's 2 to 1 and 5, still good. It is dot and B2. So 1, 2, morale check, they made it. And now attacker has to undergo a morale check as well. They made it. And they have to move. They can perform a pursuit of the 2 hexes if they want. They are going to make their pursuit like this. Okay, next battle goes here. We have 7, 7, and 7. So it's 21 and plus 5. It's 26. 26 against 3. 26 against 3 will be 8 to 1. 9 to 1 because of the division, and 10 to 1 because of the headquarter, and 9 to 1 because of the fortification, 8, 7, 6 to 1 because of the mountains. So it's 6 to 1 and 6, B3. So 1, 2, 3, first morale check and second morale check, they made it. And now pursue it. So 1, 2, and my tanks will go just here, with maybe 1 brigade here. Alright, next. 15 plus 3, it's 18. 18 against 6, against 3 is 6 to 1. 7 to 1 because of the division. 6 to 1 because of the headquarter, because of the fortification, 5, 4, 3 to 1 because of the mountain. So 3 to 1 and 10 is -1 B1. So attacker suffers 1 step loss and the defender has to retreat 1 hex. So they can only retreat here they cannot retreat here because there would be enemy zone of control, and this American division makes a pursuit like that. Okay, let's mark Germans with retreat marker, and here 15 plus 5, so it's 20, against 3, 7 to 1, 8 to 1 because of the division, 7 to 1 because of the fortification, 6, 5, 4 to 1 because of the mountain, 4 to 1 and 6 is B2. So Germans are retreating 2 hexes, 1, 2, they undergo a morale check, they made it, and Americans are making their pursuit like that. 1 and 1 and 1. Okay, you will see soon why. And our last attacks are here. 15 plus 6, it's 21 against 3, 7 to 1, 8 to 1 because of the commander, 9 to 1 because of the division, 8 to 1 because of the fortification, 6, 5, 4 because of the mountain. So 4 to 1 and 9, a dot and B2. So 1, 2, they made it, and now allies have to undergo a morale check as well. They made it, so they can pursue it. I will go with this regiment here, and they will go here. Okay, and finally our last attacks here. 20 against 3, 7 to 1, 8 to 1, 7 to 1, 6, 5, 4 to 1. Oh my! D minus 1 minus 1. Each side suffers 1 step loss, and Allied division is disorganized. And last attack, we have 19 plus 5. It's 24 against 3, so it is 21 against 3, it's 6 to 1. I believe, no, 7, or sorry, 8. It is 8 to 1, yeah. 8 to 1, plus 1 because of the division, so it's 9 to 1. 8 to 1 because of the fortification. 7, 6, 5 because of the mountain, so it's 5 to 1, and 4, very good roll, B3 and the dot. So 1, 2, 3, they have to undergo 2 morale checks, 1 and 2, they are lucky to made it, and now allies have to undergo morale check either, they made it, and they can pursue it, 1, 2, they can't go any further. Alright, so that's all when it comes to the Allied combat phase. I have a single American regiment here, but they can't do much in this part of the front. So that's all for the Allied attacks, and now we have to check for the supply. And now, Allies have a supply of, let me check, I believe it is 10, but I have to be sure to not tell you wrong. Allies 12. Okay, Allies have a 12. This means that they have 12 movement points of their supply lines. They have a supply anywhere, anytime they are down the road. Each unit which is on the road that has a connection with the southern part of the board has a supply instantly. So these units have a supply. They have, and now they are not on the road, and they are only, and they are also, they have a, they have a river here. But when unit is adjacent to their own unit, which is in supply, it also has a supply. So they have a supply, they have a supply, they have a supply, because there is a chain of supply from this hex. Okay, that's fine. Now they have a supply, they are in supply, and now they are not. Why? Because this hex is in the enemy zone of control, and this hex is in the enemy zone of control. So this Polish division is out of supply. I have to mark them with out of supply level of 1. This is not a big deal actually, because having level 1 is not a problem. You have your attack strength only halved, but if it comes any further, this might be a problem. Now here, these units are not in supply. Why? Because the only supply road is here, and it is in the enemy zone of control. Because of that, these two units are not in supply, and they have to be marked with out of supply level of 1. Now them. They are not in supply because this hex is in the enemy zone of control either. So I need to mark them with out of supply. Don't worry, it's all according to plan. I hope so. They have a supply because there is a road. They all have a supply because they are on the road or they are adjacent to their own units that are in supply. And same goes here. So all these units here are in supply. So we only have some supply issues here, and that's all for allies. It's time for Germans to shine. Well, I don't think that shine might be a good word here, but well, let's check what Germans can do. So, let's move the camera a bit more north, so I can cover the entire board now. And now, I will start here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's all here. Now, they are going to blow up this bridge. They can do it spending all their movement points. They want to retreat. They cannot reorganize themselves when they are in the enemy zone of control, so they have to move. And now, 1 for leaving enemy zone of control, 2, 3, and that's all. They cannot move any further because you spent 2 movement points for moving down the clear terrain. No good. Definitely no good. So next, this regiment cannot fortify themselves because they are in the clear terrain. So because they had to retreat. But it is fortification here, so they are going to stay here and trying to defend this Argenta. I think this is sorry for my Italian. Now here, these units are in danger of being encircled. So I think I would rather 1, 2, 3, and 4. They are leaving enemy zone of control. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. This regiment moves here. Is 1 for leaving enemy zone of control and 1.5 here. And now this German group is in problems because it is surrounded. It can only move onto this hex because you cannot move inside enemy zone of control. So if I am in the zone of control of this Polish division, I think, yes, this is Polish division, I cannot go into this hex. I can only move here. Well, that's what I have to do. They are going to stay here, and my goal is to try to get out. But I can only do this with attacking these allied units. It will be a hard thing to do, but I have to try. Now they will try to drive these Poles out of this hex. We'll see if they can do. And now here, the situation is pretty complicated because allies are moving here. So this regiment goes here. They are already surrounded, so they will stay here. They are not, so they are move 1 for leaving enemy zone of control, 2 and 3. They are enter this hex while this artillery and this headquarter evacuate themselves here. They are moving here. Their goal will be to slow down enemy progress. Okay, next, this Airborne Division 3, +1 for leaving enemy zone of control and 3 for entering mountain hex, so it's 4, so that's all for their movement. And they will remain on this hex, I believe. And now let's go here. They cannot fortify themselves, so they go 1, 2. They cannot fortify themselves, so they go 1, 2, 3 and 4. They will stay on this hex, or maybe not. They are going here. This German line still holds, so I don't think I need to move any of these units. And now here. This regiment moves 1 hex. This regiment moves 1 hex here. They cannot move any further. And this one moves here. So they will be able to provide supply to them. Alright, next, this part of the front, it looks pretty stable, so I think it makes sense to move some of these units out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Why? Because there is only one road here, and let me show you. It is protected by single German regiment, but there is only one American regiment here as well. So it won't be able to break this line. We can withdraw these units to use them anywhere. Okay, and now German reserves. Actually, Germans have some reserves, including 2 divisions. I have 1 armored division and enforced with heavy tank battalion and Panzer Grenadier division here. I can use these divisions to launch any counterattacks if there will be any danger around that I might try to get rid of. So far I don't see any good opportunities to launch any attacks, but maybe it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will send my heavy tanks here, so they will be able to drive these allies out of here, and I will send one of my armored battalion here to protect this town. You can see this is a pretty important town when it comes to the number of the roads crossing here, so it would make sense to set some units here. So that's all for the German movement, and I'm thinking of moving this division either, but as for now let's wait. Maybe there will be some good chance to launch any attack. So that's all for Germans, and now let's see if Germans have to attack anywhere. Actually they have. Why they have? Because you have to attack enemy units in your enemy zone of control. If your units are not fortified, they have to attack. They cannot just remain on the hex adjacent to the enemy units and say, I'm not going to do anything. No, they have to attack. The only exception is the situation when your unit is fortified. If your unit is in the field fortification or any other kind of fortification, there are no fixed fortifications in this game, but there are games of this series with fixed fortifications, forts and any other kind of fortifications either, then your unit is not obliged to attack. Otherwise, it has to attack. So, these Germans have to attack. And I will attack this Australian brigade with these 2 units, and this Australian brigade and British brigade with these 2 units. Because all the units in your zone of controls have to be attacked. So, I have 2 and 2. So it's 4 against 5. It is 1 to 1. And there is no... Yes, there is Polish headquarter here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it is +1 because of the headquarter. And there is no German headquarter around. No. So it is 1 to 1 and -1 because of the headquarter. So it's 1 to 2. Okay. It doesn't sound good. Okay, and the roll is really bad. It is 10. So it's A2 -1 -1. So defender has to suffer 1 step loss. Attacker has to suffer 1 step loss either. So this unit is eliminated. And now attacker has to retreat 2 hexes. And you can see that all the hexes around are in the enemy zones of control. I can retreat through the friendly units, yeah, but for each hex with a friendly unit that which is in the enemy zone of control, I have to suffer 1 step loss. So all in all, this unit is going to be eliminated anyway. Because if you cannot retreat, you have to suffer a number of step losses that equal to the number of hexes you had to retreat. Okay, and now here 4, 7 and 10 against 16. It is 2 to 1, and now it is 1 to 1 because of the black star and 1 to 2 because of the white star. Why? The black star provides you a +1 modifier every time you attack, and white star provides you a modifier every time you attack or defend against enemy tank units. They have a yellow star, and yellow star works only when you attack, so it doesn't work when they defend. So it was 1 to 2, and now it is 1 to 1 and 2 to 1 because of the stars, and 1, 2, 3, 4, no commander around. So it is 2 to 1 for Germans. 8 in the 2 to 1, it is B1. So they have to retreat 1 hex. And I will pursue it. And next combat goes here. I have 6 plus 9. They don't have to be involved in this attack because they are in the fortification, but I want them. So I have 15 against 15. They are out of supply, yeah, but their strength is halved only when they are attacking. If they are defending, the out of supply has no use. So it is 15 against 15, so it's 1 to 1. And now it is 1 to 2 because of the commander here. Germans have no commander around, their commander run like a chicken. So it is 2 to 1. 1 to 2 for Germans. 1 to 2 and 8. A1. Attacker has to retreat 1 hex. They have to retreat, and they cannot retreat because this hex, this, that, and that, and that are all in the enemy zones of control. So they have to suffer 1 step loss. That's sad. Okay, they don't have to attack because they are in the fortifications. Same goes to all the other German units in the enemy zone of controls. So that's all for the German combat. Now let's check for the German supply. Starting here. Well, all of them are in supply, no problem. They are not, because these hexes are in the enemy zone of controls. So mark them with -1. They are not in a supply, obviously, so they are -1. And now them. This road is in the enemy zone of control. These are mountains, and you cannot provide your supply through the mountains, because supply is traced in the way that motorized units are moving, and motorized units cannot move down the mountains. So these units are out of supply. You can see it goes problematic for Germans, but all the other German units are in supply. Yeah, even them. They are in the mountain range, mountain hex, but they are adjacent to their own unit, which is in supply. So they are in the supply as well. So that's all for the German supply phase. You can see that some things changed on the board, and this concludes turn 1. So let's carry on with turn 2. I think that playing turns 1 and 2 will be enough to show you much of the stuff that is used in this game. Of course, I don't think I will be able to show you everything, because it is really hard to show everything in the 2 turns, but I think it will be enough to show you much enough so you will see how this game works in general. Okay, so let's go with turn 2, and first of all I need to use my bombers, because this is turn 2 and I still have 2 bomber units to use. So I have 18 points of bombers, so I will use one of them here and one of them there. So it is 9. Okay, and each of these units is in the clear terrain, so I get no modifiers, which is good. So I will use a column of 9, 12. So first roll here, 8 in the column of 9, it is D. This means that these units are instantly disorganized. Not bad. And now here, 7. 7 is a miss. It is the only result in this column, in this verse, when you get a result which is a miss. And I get it. Oof, that was an unlucky attack. Okay, so that's all for the bombers, and now we can go with our movement. So, let's go. They are going, maybe not. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 1. Sorry, 1, 2. 1, 2, because you have to spend 2 movement points when you are moving in the clear terrain in this game. This is something that you can easily forget, but it is pretty important. Now this brigade, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They are going to attack here. And I think I might do something like this. Or no, sorry, not. First of all, this infantry brigade, 1, 2, 3, and these tanks are about to join. These artillery switches, and 1, 2. This artillery is about to stay here. This headquarter goes here, so it will cover all this area with its influence. And now this part of the front, let's carry on attack in this area. This British division, 1, 2, 3. This Polish division is going to move 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these tanks will get will be moved into reserve. What it means? After all my attacks, I will be able to move this unit, so it might make use of some successes in the front lines. But it can move, but it cannot move into the enemy zones of control. It cannot attack, and so. But I think it might be useful. This artillery and moves here. Artillery can always move 1 hex without changing from the fire to the transport site and so on. This headquarter is about to placed, I think, here as well. So it will cover this part of the front. Here these tanks, where can I use them? I think here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's all. These 2 brigades are moving here. this headquarter goes here, and that's all for this part of the front. And now that part. So this infantry moves like that. They 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here I will fortify this regiment, move this artillery here, so only they will perform attack. And now here 1, 1, they are fortifying themselves, and artillery and headquarter goes here. They are disorganized, so they decide not to move, and they are reorganizing themselves. So they are not moving, they are not performing any action, they are just reorganizing. Artillery joins them, and I think that's all when it comes to the Allied movement. Yeah. Okay, I set up my ground attack air force, and now I can perform my attacks. So here I have 10, 16 and 21. 21 against 6 is 3 to 1. 4 to 1 because of the yellow star. And now 3 to 1 because of the fortification, and 2 to 1 because of the woods. So it is 2 to 1, and the roll is 6. So it is B2. Germans are retreating 2 hexes. They have to undergo a morale check. And 10, they made it, barely, but still. And now Allies are pursuing. Now here, I have 15 against 4, but they are disorganized. And unit which is disorganized has its strength halved. So we have 15 against 2. So it's 7 to 1, 8 to 1 because of the headquarter, 9 to 1 because of the division, and 8 to 1 because of the enemy headquarter. So it's 8 to 1 and 3. Wow! It is dot and B4. Okay, so Allies have to undergo a morale check. They made it. And now Germans have to retreat 4 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And undergo 3 morale hexes. Oh, okay. And they failed in even first morale check. This means they suffer 1 step loss, because they were already disorganized. And second and third. Okay. And now I can make a pursuit with 4 hexes. So 1, 2. This unit goes here, and now them 3, and that's my pursuit. Okay, now next combat goes here. I have 5 and 10, so it's 15. Plus 7, 22, and it's 22 against 4. 22 against 4 is 5 to 1, 6 to 1 because of the headquarter, 5 to 1 because of the headquarter, 4 to 1 because of the fortification, 3 to 1 because of the fortification in the town, and 2 to 1 because of the town. Yes, when you have a fortification in the town, you get additional modifier because of fortification being in the town. So the total odds are 2 to 1 and 8. 2 to 1 and 8 is B1. So defender has to retreat 1 hex. Okay, can they retreat? They cannot here, they can only retreat here. So they are moving like that, and Allies are capturing Argenta. Next combat goes here. I have 6, 12, 20, 25, 30. 30 against 3 is 10 to 1, and 9 to 1 because of the woods, 8 to 1 because of the commander. 8 to 1 and 9 is just a B2. So 1, 2, Morale check. They made it. Oh, I forgot to mark them as retreating unit. And allies are moving 1, 2 and 1, 2. Okay, next battle. 16. 16 plus 16 is 32. 35. And 35 plus 15 is 50. So it's 50 against, and they are disorganized. So 50 against 2, 4, 6. 30 against 6 would be 8 to 1. So it's 8 to 1, 9 to 1 because of the star, 10 to 1 because of the division. It would be even more, but we cannot get more than 10 to 1. So it's 10 to 1, and for German it is 9 to 1 because of the white star. And as for the black star, I have to make sure. Yes, it works in the defense as well. So it's 10 to 1, minus 1 because of the white star, and minus 1 because of the black star. So it's 8 to 1. And 8 in the 8 to 1 is B3. So they have to retreat 3 hexes, 1, 2, 3, and they have to undergo 2 morale checks. 1 and 2. Okay, they were lucky. And now Allied pursue it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. Alright, next battle goes here. We have 4, 7. 7 plus 8, 15. 15 plus 15 is 30. 36. And now we have them out of supply, so they have the strength halved. So it was 30, 33, 36, 39. So it's 39 against 8. So it is 5 to 1, 6 to 1 because of the headquarter, 7 to 1 because of the division, 8 to 1 because of the other division, so it's 8 to 1. And now 7 to 1 because of the river, 6 to 1 because of the fortification. Sorry, 8 to 1, 7 to 1 because of the fortification of the river, 6 to 1 because of the fortification, 5 to 1 because of the fortification in the city, 4 to 1, 3 to 1 because of the city itself, and 2 to 1 because of the division. So it's 2 to 1 and 9. It is minus 1 B1. So attacker has to suffer 1 step loss, and defender has to retreat 1 hex. And they cannot, because there are zones of enemy zones of control here, here, and here. So they have to suffer 1 step loss. Okay. My next attack is here. They have 3, sorry, but they are out of supply, so they have 2 and 3. So they have 5 against 2, so it's 2 to 1, 3 to 1 because of the commander, 2 to 1 because of the fortification, 1 to 1 because of the fortification in the town, and 1 to 2 because of the town. So it's 1 to 2 and 8. It is A1. So attacker has to retreat 1 hex, and they cannot, so they suffer 1 step loss. Next battle is here. They all are out of supply, well, most of them. So they have 3, 6, 12, 12, 17, 17, 20, 23, 25, and 28. It's 28 against 2, so it's 10 to 1 naturally. And now 9 to 1 because of the river, 8 to 1 because of the fortification, and 7, 6, 5 to 1 because of the mountain. So it's 5 to 1 and 7. It is enough to get rid of them completely. So allies can pursue it. They are moving here. And that's all for this battle. Next we have here, it is 10 plus 7 and 14, so it's 24. 24 plus 12, it's 36. So it's 36 against 3. 10 to 1, 9 to 1 because of the fortification, 8, 7, 6 to 1 because of the mountain. So it's 6 to 1 and 2. Minus 1, B4, D. So defender retreats 4 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4. They have to undergo 3 morale checks. 1, 2, 3. Okay, they made it. Let's mark them with retreat. And now allies have to suffer 1 step loss. And now only infantry can pursue it, because well, tanks cannot enter mountain. So that's all. And next combat is here. We have 13 against 3. 13 against 3 would be 4 to 1, 5 to 1 because of the division, 4, 3, 2, 1 because of the mountain, and 1 to 1 because of the commander. So it's 1 to 1 and 8, not a very good roll. Minus 1, minus 1. So each side suffers 1 step loss. And we are getting close to the end of the combat phase. It is 10 plus 6, so it's 16. 16 against 3 is 5 to 1. 5 to 1. And now 4 to 1 because of the fortification. 3 to 1 because of the river. 2 to 1, 1 to 1, and 1 to 2 because of the mountain. And 1 to 3 because of the commander. So it's 1, 1 to 3 odds and 7 A1. So attacker has to retreat 1 hex. So they are moving here. Okay, who's next? Oh, I have a combat here. So it's 5 plus 6, so it's 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. It's 24 against 3. It is 8 to 1, 9 to 1 because of the commander, 8 to 1 because of the fortification, 7, 6, 5 because of the mountain, 4 because of the town, and 3 because of the fortification in the town. So the total odds are 3 to 1 and 11. It is minus 1, minus 1. Each side suffers 1 step loss. So you can see that even some really weak units might defend successfully when properly placed in the mountain. And finally, a last battle. 7, 13, 19, 24, and 30 against 3, 10 to 1, 9, 8, 7, 6, so it's 6 to 1. Okay, it is dot and B3, so they are retreating 3 hexes, 1, 2, 3. I need to make 2 morale checks for them. They are fine, and mark them with retreat. And I had a dot, so I have to make a roll for attacker. They are fine, and they can perform a pursuit here. Alright, so that's all for Allied combat phase, and now let's check Allied supply. We captured Argenta, and because of that all these Allied units here are in supply, because our supply goes like this. And now here, these tanks are in supply because they are adjacent to this unit. Our supply goes here, so all these units are in supply. They are in supply now. Here. Our road goes here, so they are in supply. They are in supply. And I think they are not. Well, road here is blocked by the zone of control of these German paratroopers, so they don't get a supply. They don't get a supply either, because unit which is on the mountain and wait, sorry, they are, because this unit is in supply, so they are adjacent, so all of them are in supply. Okay, my mistake. Now here all of them are in supply, because thanks to this road, and they are adjacent. Now here they are not in supply, and all of them are. Okay, so that's all for Allied supply phase. Let's go to Germans. We are starting German movement phase, and I will start here. They were forced to retreat, and because of that they cannot fortify themselves in this phase. So 1 for leaving enemy zone of control, 2, next they spent 1 movement point to blow this bridge, 3, and that's all. Or maybe not. This regiment also moves here. They are doing nothing, and now this division is about to launch counterattack. They are attacking here. This disorganized regiment is moving 1, 2, 3 to reorganize themselves, and this regiment, 1 for leaving enemy zone of control, 2, 3, it takes these fortifications. Okay, now here it doesn't look good. This is motorized unit, and motorized unit for moving down the clear terrain to 2 movement points. So it's 1 for leaving enemy zone of control, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Them, they want to move back because they want to reorganize themselves. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This battalion fortifies itself in Budrio. Now these tanks. I'm afraid that they might be surrounded by the enemy as well, so I would rather take them somewhere to the safety. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This regiment joins here, and this artillery with headquarters takes this hex. They are about to move into this zone. They are about to retreat here. And now this Airborne Division that defends Imola. Well, they are about to be surrounded, I believe, so I need to get them away as long as I can, because otherwise they will be surrounded by allies and probably destroyed. Let's see if they will be able to get out of here. It won't be easy, but well, we can try. These Germans are fortifying themselves, and so they. Okay, that's all here, and this part of the front looks pretty stable so far. There are no Germans are still holding the line. This regiment moves here to fortify this town. These Germans are moving here. This regiment fortifies itself, and this one joins them. Now these units. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think that's most of the German actions. I still hold this 90 Armored Division here, and I'm thinking of moving some of these units. 1, 2, 3 here, to make sure that allies won't make a move like that and break through my my defense. Okay, so I think that's all for the German actions, right? Yeah. So let's go to the German combat phase. I will attack here near the Castle San Pietro, trying to make my way out of this encirclement that is about to appear here soon. So I have 1, 2, and 4, and I will use these units too. So I have 5 plus 4, it is 9. 9 against 7, it's 1 to 1. So it's 1 to 1 and 1 to 2 because of the allied commander. So it's 1 to 2 for Germans. Let's make a roll. Okay, that was a good roll. Oh, sorry, I should move this. It was 5. 5 in the 1 to 2, it is -1, -1. So each side suffers 1 step loss. But Germans are not forced to retreat. Okay, this is good. And am I about to attack anywhere? Yeah, here. 3, 5, and so it's 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 against 5 is 3 to 1. 4 to 1 because of the division. So it's 4 to 1 and 3. 4 to 1 and 3 is dot and b3. So defender has to retreat 3 hexes. 1, 2, 3. And 5. They are fine. So let's mark them with retreat marker. And now they have to undergo a morale check for themselves. They are fine. And they are not going to perform any pursuit. Why? Because otherwise they might be encircled and cut out of supply from this side. So let me check if Germans are about to attack anywhere else. I don't think so. Yeah, they don't do any attacks. So that's all for German movement phase. And now let's check for the German supply. Okay, they have a supply because they are adjacent to the unit which is in supply, and they have a supply line here. Same goes to them. They are adjacent to the units that are in supply. They are alright as well. And any other German units? Well, I think all of them are fine. They are adjacent to each other, and at last this unit is in supply by all means, because there is a road. They are in supply, so everything's fine here. So that's all for the German supply phase. And you may ask what would happen if a unit would be switched on the level 2 out of supply. It's still nothing, but in the next supply phase you would have to make a roll. And if you roll a number which is lower than this number, your unit is about to suffer a loss. And it doesn't mean it suffers a step loss, but it is instantly removed from the board. So for example, if this unit would end its supply phase with if this unit would start its supply phase with the level out of supply of 2, it would have to make a roll, and if it would roll 1, then it would be removed from the board. We would need more time to get into such situations, so I decided it would be better to simply explain how it works. Okay, I think that I managed to cover much of the rules in this game. So you definitely have a general idea how to play, and you can get most of the rules. If you will have any questions about rules of this game or any other game of this particular system, feel free to ask in the comments. I will try to answer. Thank you for watching, and see you again.